Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jasodanandana Vajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Vajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatu me. Jaya Goranitai, Jai Goranitai, Goranitai, Jaya Goranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai, Gaura Premanandi. Jayom Vijupad Paramamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Zvangles et Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayom Vijupad Paramamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Zvangles Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasabhutade Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 28th chapter, entitled Puranjana becomes a woman in a next life. Sloka number 22. Evam Kripanaya Buddhya Sochantam Atadharanam Grahitum Kritadhi Enam Vayanama Abhyapadyata Evam Kripanaya Buddhya Sochantam Atadharanam Grahitum Kritadhi Enam Bhayanama Bhyapadyata Evam Kripanaya Buddhya Sochantamatadaranam Grahitum Kritadhirenam Bhayanama Bhyapadyata Evam Kripanaya Buddhya Sochantamatadaranam Grahitum Kritadhirenam Bhayanama Bhyapadyata. Vaishnavis. Evam, thus Kripanaya, by miserly Buddhya, intelligence, Sochantam, lamenting, Atat Arhanam, on which he should not have lamented, Grahitum, in order to arrest, Kritadhi, the determined king of the Yavanas, Enam, him, Bhayanama, whose name was Fear, Abhyapadyata, came there immediately. Translation. Although King Puranjana should not have lamented over the fate of his wife and children, he nonetheless did so due to his miserly intelligence. In the meantime, Yavanaraj, whose name was Fear itself, immediately drew near to arrest him. Please repeat. Although King Puranjana should not have lamented over the fate of his wife and children, he nonetheless did so due to his miserly intelligence. In the meantime, Yavanaraj, whose name was Fear itself, immediately drew near to arrest him. Purport by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Foolish people do not know that every individual soul is responsible for his own actions and reactions in life. As long as a living entity in the form of a child or boy is innocent, it is the duty of the father and mother to lead him into a proper understanding of the values of life. When a child is grown, it should be left up to him to execute the duties of life properly. The parent, after his death, cannot help his child. A father may leave some estate for his children's immediate help, but he should not be overly absorbed in thoughts of how his family will survive after his death. This is the disease of the conditioned soul. Not only does he commit sinful activities for his own sense gratification, but he accumulates great wealth to leave behind so that his children may also gorgeously arrange for sense gratification. In any case, everyone is afraid of death, and therefore death is called bhaya, or fear. Although King Puranjana was engaged in thinking of his wife and children, death did not wait for him. Death does not wait for any man. It will immediately carry out its duty. Since death must take away the living entity without hesitation, it is the ultimate God realization of the atheists who spoil their lives thinking of country, society, and relatives to the neglect of God consciousness. In this verse, the word Atadharanam is very significant, for it means that one should not be overly engaged in welfare activities for one's family members, countrymen, society, and community. None of these will help a person to advance spiritually. Unfortunately, the present-day society, so-called educated men, have no idea what spiritual progress is. Although they have the opportunity in the human form of life to make spiritual progress, they remain misers. They use their lives improperly and simply waste them thinking about the material welfare of their relatives, countrymen, society, and so on. One's actual duty is to learn how to conquer death. Lord Krishna states the process of conquering death in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 9th sloka. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti surjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. After giving up this body, one who is fully Krishna conscious does not accept another material body, but returns home back to Godhead. Everyone should try to attain this perfection. Unfortunately, instead of doing so, people are absorbed in thoughts of society, friendship, love, and relatives. This Krishna consciousness movement, however, is educating people throughout the world and informing them how to conquer death. Harim vina naiva sritim taranti. One cannot conquer death without taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timilandasya Jnananjana Sarakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is the final stage here for King Puranjana. He has been living very happily, according to his own standards, enjoying sense gratification throughout his life, in the accompaniment of his wife, material intelligence, and his children and other relatives and friends in the city of Nine Gates. But now he has to face death. Everybody has to face death, and he is not an exception. So Kalakanya assisted with associates such as Yamana Raj and other associates, the time factor. They are now attacking very fiercely King Puranjana. King Puranjana has lived sufficiently. Now it is time for him to depart from his body. But he is not aware of that threat. But now the last moment he realizes that his body does not function like before. His mind is going out of reach. And his intelligence, his memory is failing. And he's feeling now the temperature is also increasing so much. Prabhupada said that when temperature reaches 107, that is a final warning that cannot go higher. Higher than that means definitely the person has to leave his body, cannot sustain anymore in the same body. So this is the now description in this sloka of the final moments of King Puranjana. He has not learned any lesson so far. He is not aware that death is coming and what shall I do after that? What will be the fate of my family members, especially my wife? Throughout life, I've been maintaining my wife. Now if I leave, then what will happen? And my children also will be in pitiful condition. It was earlier described that King Puranjana begot 1,100 sons and 110 daughters. So it's not a small amount. Nowadays, if one has in a family 1 or 2 children, that is enough. They consider this to be sufficient. But at that time, see, more than 1,000 children, that was at that time being done like this. It is, for us, it is impossible to understand. But people at that time were living much longer, up to 1 lakh years in Satya Yuga or 10,000 years in Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. So they had some more time to beget more children. And the world population was not so much like now. So they were also doing some seva to populate the world. Lord Brahma requested his children to beget more children. They are called Prajapatis. So it's some type of a service to populate the world. But nowadays we would consider that in some country they had kept a rule, no more than 1 child, otherwise you will be punished. So actually Prabhupada said that there is no question of overpopulation. There is sufficient resources in the world to maintain, to sustain any number of population. There is no fear about scarcity of food. If at all there is scarcity of food sometimes, that is due to the sinful activities of the human population. Sometimes in war, times of war, then the people cannot cultivate the land, and in this way there is no proper food distribution. Prabhupada saw also in America that in order to maintain the prices of the food products, the people were going to the ocean and throw the food or valuable resources so that the price will be maintained at a higher level. Otherwise, if there's too much food available to the public, the price will go down. The Prabhupada saw this personally, and this is in this way we understand how sinful are the people, in order to earn some money, they are ready to do any type of sinful activity. So in this case here, there is no question of scarcity for the family of Puranjana, and still Puranjana is in great anxiety about what's going to happen to his family members after he passes away. So one should not lament in this manner. Here the word has been used in this Bhagavatam sloka that Evan Kripanaya Buddhya Sochantam Atadaranam. That is very significant words used here by Narada Muni to King Prachinabarishat. It is not worthy to lament for people outside us, our family members or community members, society, and so on. There is no need to lament for those who are living or dead. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says a similar instruction to Arjuna in the beginning of second chapter. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Asochan Anvasochastvam Pragya Vadansya Bhashase Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanu Sachanti Panditaha. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. That is the beginning of the instruction of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Why you are lamenting? You are on the battlefield, you are a Kshatriya, so why do you hesitate to kill all the opposing party? You are thinking, oh, he's my uncle, oh, he's my guru, he's my grandfather. How can I go against them? It is better to, I'll give up my weapons. I don't want to stay in this battlefield. I renounce. That is the first, at the beginning, the lamentation of Arjuna. Lamenting for those who are living, considering them to be our dear relatives and so on. Why? Because of bodily connection. So bodily connection is condemned by Lord Krishna from the very beginning. We have nothing to do with the body. We are soul. The body is just a temporary dress. So sometimes we put dress, and the next day we put different dress. So we remain the same. So there is no question of being attached to one dress against another one. No need to lament, no lamentation. So, Anvashachastvam, you need not lament, either for the dead or those who are alive. Otherwise, that means you are not a pandit. Pandit means a person who knows the difference between body and soul, at least. But if you are a pandit, then you mean that you will be simply attached to the body and bodily connections. So the message of Bhagavad Gita starts from that point, that we should concentrate on the spiritual aspect of life. We are spirit soul, eternal. Nahanyate hanyamane sarire. The soul does not die, does not kill, does not cause anyone to kill. The soul is aloof from the body, all bodily connections. It is only a misunderstanding that people think that they are the body. I belong to this country, this society, this religion, and so on. This is only a misplaced intelligence, or as mentioned here in this Bhagavad Sloka, miserly intelligence. Evam kripanaya buddhya. Kripana. Kripana means miser. There are also in the Bhagavad Gita, in the commentary, Prabhupada mentions the difference between Kripana and Brahmana. Kripana is a miserly person. What is the symptom of a miserly person? He has sufficient assets at his disposal, but he is very miser. He will not distribute, or he will not use properly. He will just keep very tightly, and he will not make proper use of that. So he's called a miser. Nobody likes these miser people. They don't want to help anybody. They are not helping themselves also. And the opposite is a Brahmana. The Brahmana is someone who is wide-hearted, large-hearted, with a very good intelligence, knowing the difference between the spirit and the body. So one should become, by education, a Brahmana, qualified Brahmana, endowed with all the Brahminical qualities. That should be the objective of education. And if there is no proper education, then we shall remain miser throughout life. Miser means even if a person doesn't have so much money, but he has this human form of life, that is the most valuable asset. So a miser person in this sense will not be able to understand the value of the human form of life. And he will be simply spending his time in eating, sleeping, mating, defending, just like ordinary animals, not understanding the higher goal of human life, which is God realization. So he is a miser. So King Puranjana is a miser, and similarly Arjuna was also called a miser, even though he's a very famous Kshatriya from a royal family. But Lord Krishna, just like a guru, is entitled to chastise his disciple, sometimes very severely, so that the disciple will have a shock. How is calling me like this? If the student is a good student, he will realize my Guru Maharaj is very merciful. He is chastising me for my own good, because I am simply living in ignorance, and he is trying to awaken me to the proper consciousness. So that is how Lord Krishna is calling Arjuna. You are fool number one. No proper knowledge. You are not a pandit, you are a miser, and so on. Similarly, King Puranjana. And indirectly, Narada Muni is addressing Prachina Barishad, who is a famous, glorious king, but he doesn't have the proper knowledge of self-realization, and he is indulging in all types of pious activities for the sake of the body only. So here we can read a few lines. See? In the purpose Prabhupada mentions to this sloka, the Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. Like that. That is the beginning of his commentary. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation, and so on. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. So the fundamental teaching of Bhagavad Gita and of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the further explanation of the teachings of Lord Krishna. And we can see the same teachings is being given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone who laments for the dead or living, although they may be very dear, very close, but if anyone falls down into this state of lamentation, that means he has not acquired the proper knowledge which is necessary for human beings to achieve perfection of life. Perfection of life means instead of focusing on the bodily condition of the dear relatives, but he should focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakaranam Karanam. The Lord Krishna is Sarvakaranam Karanam, cause of all causes. Where is the question of lamenting if one knows that Lord Krishna is the cause of everything? Lord Krishna is the maintainer, he is the creator, maintainer, and he is also the annihilator. These three functions he is holding independently from anyone. He is the only one who is independent, and everybody else is dependent. So the duty of the dependent one is to render service to the Supreme Independent, Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, in order to please him. So that is the only function of life. And if a person does not know this, then he will simply fall down into the ignorant stage of consciousness, which is the animal stage, or even the trees and plants and others. But when one achieves the human form of life, he should raise his consciousness to the spiritual level, forgetting about the bodily conditions. There may be duties also regarding maintaining the body or maintaining the body of the family members, but that should be done in the right proportion. As Prabhupada mentioned, one should not be overly attached to the maintenance of one's family members. There may be naturally some duties to fulfill, but that should not take a whole effort, consciousness. Our whole life should not be simply devoted to that. One should simply fulfill and also teach, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that one should educate the children. It is very good to beget children, but one should be careful to give the children the proper spiritual education. At the beginning, from the age of 5, the children should be taught spiritual knowledge by way of approaching the Guru, just like Lord Krishna also went. Even though he is the Supreme Lord, he has all knowledge, but he was also sent by his parents, Vasudeva Devaki, to the Gurukul, Sandipani Muni, when Lord Krishna visited again Mathura. So he spent some time there, and in this way he gave an example how children should be educated from the age of 5 onwards, properly, given the proper Vedic teachings and spiritual education, service to the spiritual master. In this way, the children will be, from beginning, properly directed for spiritual realization. taking the other aspects of life as secondary. But primary object of life is God realization, Krishna consciousness. So that is the Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. If one is not educated in this way, then there is every chance that his whole life will be simply spent in sense gratification without focusing on the ultimate destination. And then when death comes, he doesn't know what is happening next. He is in gross ignorance. So King Prachina Parishad should take up this lesson, and instead of indulging in pious activities, even for the sake of going to heaven, heavenly planets are not the goal of life. It is like a temporary step for higher purpose. Even those who are living in heaven, just like what's his name? That one Kshatriya, yeah? Bahu? Bahu-san? Nahusha? No, I was thinking of somebody else. My memory is failing. So, so he was assisting the demigods in the war against the Asuras for many, many years. And he fought valiantly. Huh? Kadamba? No. Kadwanga, yeah, right. Kadwanga, very famous. Why is he so famous? Not so much because he conquered the Asuras in a fight along with the Devas, but he became famous when he came to know that now you have just a few moments to live in this material world. You have come to heaven, and but now the war is over, and just a few moments of life remains for you. So immediately he took the boon. I want to go back to the Earth planet. Immediately, by the mercy of the Devatas, he came back to Earth planet. Immediately, he focused his consciousness, concentrated on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and leaving the body without any fear or no anxiety, he went back to the spiritual world. So that is why he is so famous, Maharaj Kadwanga, for that reason that he was enlightened in the matter of Krishna consciousness. So he did his duty, fighting against the Asuras. That is also the duty of a Kshatriya, very important. Otherwise, the Asuras take over the kingdom. They may take over heaven or the kingdom of the earth. And if the Kshatriyas are not there to curb these Asuras, then they will be condemned. The Arjunas also will be condemned if he does not fulfill his duty as a Kshatriya. But fulfilling the duties of life, either as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, one should focus on the cause of all causes. Sarvakarana Karanam, who is the independent master and who is the supreme cause. One should focus on that, then he'll be successful in life and he'll be able at the same time simultaneously to fulfill his duty. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna later on that Mamanusmara Yudhyachva is not simply Mamanusmara, that is there, that is the essential instruction. But Krishna is also telling Arjuna, Yudhyacha. These two should go parallel line, just like the train is going on two tracks, parallel lines. So material duties and spiritual duties, these should go together in parallel lines. One should never forget spiritual duties, otherwise he will not be able to achieve the proper destination. So Mamanusmara Yudhyacha, very essential instruction in a concise, just like a sutra. Sutra means very important instruction in few words, concisely spoken, 4 words only. The whole Vedic literature can be found in these 4 words spoken by Lord Krishna. Mamanusmara Yudhyacha. So Arjuna in this way is being instructed, just like King Prachina Barishat, by Narada Muni. And similarly, in this story of King Puranjana, we see the opposite, negative example. That's also important to understand. You have the positive example, negative example. If you do this, you will achieve perfection. If you don't do this, you will go down. So King Puranjana is showing the negative example, going down. At the time of death, he is only lamenting, full of anxiety about his family maintenance, which is in this way stealing from him the ultimate goal of life. So Prabhupada also quoted how to achieve the ultimate goal of life by properly understanding Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Surjuna. At the time of death, one should concentrate on the Janma Karma Chame Divyam, on the personality of Godhead, who has no Janma, no Karma. For the Supreme Lord, the Tattva. What is the Tattva? Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha. One should know very well that Lord Krishna does not take birth like ordinary conditioned soul. He appears at his own will, Atma Maya. And similarly, he does not disappear because of the material condition, out of his own will. Just like Gandhari told after the battle of Kurukshetra was over, she was very upset. And she told Lord Krishna that your people, they will also die, just like my 100 sons, they were killed. Your own people, the Yadus, they will also die. You will also die. Not more than 36 years. I'll give you this warning. Krishna could have counteracted this curse easily. For him, there is nothing, there is no such curse for him. But he accepted. All right, 36 years, no problem. We'll go from here. We'll go back to our home. That is sufficient. We spent enough time here. We'll go home, no problem. So, but that is not material death. So no material birth, no material death, no material activity. Everything is transcendental for Lord Krishna. He is a supreme independent doer. He is the only doer. What can we do? We can only be subordinate doer. If Krishna gives me permission, then I can do this much. And the result will be either good or bad. That is my own. So that is the position of Lord Krishna. If one knows this, Janma Karma Shame Divyam, transcendental activities of Lord Krishna, then if we have this proper knowledge, then Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Navidyate, we don't take birth anymore. So that is the importance of understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. We must read Prabhupada books daily, very attentively, so that we'll remain engrossed in the Krishna Leela and the proper understanding of Krishna Janma, Krishna Karma. And in this way, when death comes, then we'll go back home, back to Godhead. without any anxiety. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.